Morning everyone. So day 2 we are in Bruges. We decided to use Cruise Express, which was €30 return for an adult and €5 return for a child. So Bruges is a military and an industrial port, so they'll use a bus to get you from the cruise ship to the port unless you've booked an excursion there. So let's go see what this has to offer.
Hey guys, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Stuart.
And welcome to Cruising with Stuart and Jeff.
The great thing about this port, once you are dropped off by that bus, you literally come through the cruise terminal and you are here. Cruise Express is to your right, as you can see in the background there, and obviously it'll come in the video. Or if you wanted to just stay in Bruges, there is a chocolate factory to your left, which our kids did, and it was a nice little museum. You could see animals and people made out of chocolate, which was quite fun. As mentioned in the opening video, it was €30 for an adult and a €5 charge for a child, and that was for a return. The bus runs every 30 minutes from Zeebrugge to Bruges, and then from Bruges back to Zeebrugge, and they will start at 11 o'clock coming back. Purchase these before you actually got there, but because of the weather we weren't sure whether it was going to be warm enough or not going to be raining. There is actually no benefit of purchasing it online because there was a lot of space for us on the way there and on the way back. Cheers, thank you. If you had a pushchair or a wheelchair, there was space to put it on the bottom if you just tell them. They opened it up for you. We were also told that the journey would take 40 minutes. It actually took 20 minutes, which was really good, and it did on the way back. I guess it's all on how busy the traffic is. Where Cruise Express drop you off, they will also pick you up, so make sure you make a note of where this point is. You can get a map from the cruise ship, but we used Google Maps, which was just as easy, and I also took a picture so I knew where we were. The walk from the drop-off point to Bruges, I would say, is about a 15-minute walk. So if you do have people who have lower mobility, it is worth taking a wheelchair with them so that they can sit down regular or can be pushed around. The red bridge in front of you is what you're looking for to take you over into Bruges. You literally turn left here, go over another little bridge and then turn right and you're basically in Bruges, and the scenery is amazing.
so we had really good
That's
seats.
cool.
It was
We went and
fantastic.
saw the Book of Mormon.
Oh, how did you find it?
We found it to be, I was a bit leery, but that's what they wanted to do, so we didn't really kind of do those things. It was excellent.
Was it?
We were in the third row center. I mean, so we were, but no one came down our aisle. That's cool.
Yeah, with the Lion King, they come down with it all dressed in the costumes, like throughout some of the songs. So you're like, so obviously kids would have loved it, but I loved it just as much.
Of course, of course.
So, but yes, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go.
So was that way town?
I don't know. I think Google mapping it, to be honest. So. So this, it's
Where we are.
sort of still like you sort of are in the town.
What you're about to see now is a nice little historian village, and it just shows you how they lived in the past really, and how similar but different it is to how we lived 800 years ago. It was really good. I used Google Translate to change a lot of the signs so that I could read what they were about, which was a great experience because it's something I hadn't done before, and it was free to enter.
Might not pick it up, but it's all that shiny.
Bruges itself, it just opens up to a gorgeous little town with a lot of restaurants, a lot of cafes, a lot of waffle shops, your knick-knack shops, 2 Christmas shops, and it's just so beautiful with all the churches and the old buildings. There's nothing really commercial there. You don't find a McDonald's or all that. It's all literally them doing everything, and it was gorgeous. You can get a horse ride round in a carriage, which is good, and they take priority, as you'll see through the video. It's just brilliant. throughout this gorgeous town you will see different statues placed around which just bring on the culture and the gorgeousness of this little town. You will see a lot of Belgian chocolate shops around as well, which looked super tasty, but we didn't get any because we opted for a waffle covered in Oreos and coconut and chocolate, and it was fantastic. As our waffle choice. They had a lot of options that were already out to give you some ideas, but you can literally mix and match. I asked the lady which one she preferred and she really couldn't choose between them all because they're that tasty. It was relatively cheap as well. We got 2 bottles of water and a waffle to share, and it was only about €12, which I thought was pleasantly surprising considering of where we were.
What do you like?
You're not going to like this, Jack. I'll just have it all. What do you think? Well, we hope you enjoyed our little tour around Bruges in Belgium. Now, we thought it was picturesque and gorgeous, and you can just walk around on your own, but what we noticed is like the people on the horse and carriages were getting actually a lot of information from the tour guides. Some didn't, so it probably is just luck of the draw, but maybe we would do something like that, or even look at a tour through our cruise line, depending on who we go with at the time. But if you've enjoyed day 2, hold on and see what comes on day 3. Bye for now.